So what's the domain of the following functions? Here we're dealing with the square roots of functions. So we all know that I could always square root a positive number, but I cannot square root a negative number. So I cannot do a square root of negatives. And based on that, now, if I want to find the domain here, basically what I'm trying to say here, I'm saying this expression here, 2 minus x, has to be greater than or equal to 0. Greater than or equal to 0 basically is saying it cannot be negative. This expression here cannot be negative. And therefore, now, let me just get rid of the video here. Negative x has to be greater than or equal to negative 2. I moved the 2 to the other side, became negative. Divide both sides by negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1 by negative 1. And as we mentioned in my last video, that when you divide by a negative, you get x here, the inequality sign flips, and that therefore x has to be less than or equal to 2. Okay, now if you sub in any number in this equation right here that's less than 2, you'll be assured that you'll get a positive number. But if you put in any number that's greater than 2, let's say you put in 3 there, then 2 minus 3 will give you a negative 1, and then you cannot square root a negative. That's basically what this is saying. Okay, so this is easy, but the next question is a little bit more challenging. Sorry, this is supposed to be x squared minus 3x minus 10. So now, again, this here has to be positive. Whatever is under the square root here cannot be negative. So there are x values that could make this expression here negative, and then we cannot square root it. How are we going to figure that the x values that are part of the domain? We take this right here, the x squared minus 3x minus 10, and we say it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So basically it's saying whatever is underneath here cannot be negative. Let's factor this. This factors into x minus 5, x plus 2, and that has to be greater than or equal to 0. Now, it's better to do a number line right here. My zeros here are x equals negative 2, and x equals 5, so that's right here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a number in each interval here, in this interval, this interval, and this interval, and test it in this equation right here. So in this interval, we'll take negative 3, sub it into here. Negative 3 minus 5 will give me negative 8. Negative 3 plus 2 will give me negative 1. When you multiply these two, I get 8. Is 8 greater than or equal to 0? Yes, that's true. Therefore, you shade here. Now let's take a number in here. The best number in this interval is to take 0. If I take 0, we know that it's going to be a negative 5 times positive 2. And that gives me negative 10. Is negative 10 greater than or equal to 0? No, that's false, so I don't shade in here. Now let's take a number in here, 6, 7, 8, 100 if you wish, but we'll take 6 to make this easier. So if we take 6 here, 6 minus 5 is 1, and 6 plus 2 is 8. 1 times 8 is 8. Is that greater than or equal to 0? Yes, that's true. Therefore, I shade here. And therefore, my solution will be x has to be less than or equal to negative 2, or x has to be greater than or equal to 5. So as long as x is less than or equal to negative 2, or x is greater than or equal to 5, that will make sure what's under the square root here will be positive. And that's how you do these kind of questions. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye-bye.